Hello and welcome to Vkind Connects. I'm your host, Shabnam Islam. And on today's show, we have one of the most impactful tech industry executives in the plant-based space, Bryan Dennstedt. Now, Bryan is the founder of Green Growth Mentors and Real Men Eat Plants podcast, and he's not wrong there. Now, with his expertise in technology, health, and the plant-based industry, Bryan is what we call an accomplished Fractional Chief Technology Officer and also a Chief Information Officer for many reputable companies, including iPic Entertainment, MD Live, and of course, Tech CXO. Thank you so much for joining us today, Bryan.
Thanks for having me, Shabnam. It's so nice to be here and hang out with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I really want to dive into first is kind of your experience in technology, because this actually begins with some of the behemoths of our time, like Xerox and IBM. So really, I want to know what drew you to tech and how did those career experiences really shape your future in the tech industry?
100%. Yeah, I have to give it credit to my dad. My dad was in computers, and I know I'll date myself a little bit here, but the cow boxes from Gateway Computers way back when one of those showed up, I'm sure my parents took out a small mortgage against the house to get one of the first computers, and I opened it up and I fell in love with it, and I've been hooked on the computers and the technology stuff ever since, honestly.
And that is awesome. So, but then, I'm also dating myself because I know Xerox and we know IBM, and we were also the very lucky family to have those tools, that IBM, and definitely in our house in the 90s, early 90s. So, tell us about those career experiences and how that really started to shape you as a tech industry exec.
Yeah. I mean, halfway through college, I landed that internship and just continued to fall in love with the computers. I was working with Xerox, and then Xerox translated into IBM. I got to work for some amazing companies like Home Depot and Panasonic and T-Mobile and a lot of the big players in the e-commerce space. And I got to travel the globe, see the world, enjoy good food everywhere, and really continue with that technology experience. From there, I jumped into sort of energy trading, and I got my first CTO, Chief Technology Officer position, doing some energy trading work, and really enjoyed that. And my career just led from one CTO opportunity to the next, and until I found myself with Tech CXO.
And I love that you say that, because I've worked in education for over a decade now, and I think our current generation often thinks that, oh, I got to have it right as soon as I get out of college, and I got to know what I want to do. But what you really are showing people is that it's this diverse experience that has allowed you to be an industry executive. Yes?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's funny because I started off in computer science before IT was even a thing. And then halfway through, said, hey, we're going to create this information technology thing. You want to switch? And I think that gave me a well-rounded experience. And then I just got to use all these different skill sets, from video editing to templates for PowerPoint slides to executive presentations, and got to play with it all. And so just got this well-rounded business background on a ton of fronts. So yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this is so rad, because honestly, when I was diving into the roles of what you did, I was telling you a little bit before, is that this is the first time I've heard the definition of fractional Chief Technology Officer or fractional Chief Information Officer. So for those of our viewers that are new to this ideology, could you share what that means, what the roles and responsibilities are, and how this could even have greater benefits?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, if you want to hire a CEO or a COO or even a CTO, we're expensive. We are a couple $100,000 a year salary to have somebody with, say, 25 years of experience like I do. So the fractional space really allows me to go in and work with a handful of clients on a fractional basis, where you get my expertise for a few hours a week to really help unlock some of your problems, but get the people on the ground doing the work, really plugged in and executing the vision that I help convey and lay out for you in the technology world. So that's what the fractional side's all about.
But what differentiates the CTO from the CIO? Because I see that you've had experience with both roles.
Yeah, I would say the CIO was the first, head computer nerd way back when, and that's sort of all encompassing of like more like bigger enterprises, more hands-on with the computers, the desk side support services, some of the data management and stuff. The CTO side is a little bit more in, say, the mobile apps and the software development and the roadmaps and the strategies. So I think they complement each other really well, but honestly, I think the terms can be sort of intermixed as needed as well. So
Okay. So one does not oversee the other. It just really depends on, the industry itself and how they want to define it.
typically, a company only has one or the other until they get really big, and then they probably have multiple of all the roles, right? So yeah, but
And this is something that you do with Green Growth Mentors, and I really want to dive into that. But before we do that, I think it's kind of important for us to kind of talk about your Veg Curious journey, because I think Green Growth Mentors is kind of based off of the ideology of veganism or plant-basedness. So what started your Veg Curious journey? Like, what was your actual why?
It was 13 or 14 years ago at that point, and I was a big movieaholic, and I was thankful to even be a CTO at a movie theater and go to all the opening premiere movies in my little city. And somebody said, "Hey, there's this new documentary. It's opening night. Let's go check it out." So here I am sitting at the opening night of Forks Over Knives in my city and watched that movie. And I was just like, my jaw just kept dropping throughout the movie. So thanks to all the people that created that movie. I'm sure many of you have a similar story with a movie that impacted you, but that's what started my journey. I walked out of the movie theater. I bought the domain name Real Men Eat Plants and started blogging and documenting my journey of how I went vegan 30 days, lost a bunch of weight, lost some cholesterol, and just wanted to see where I would plateau, dabbled vegetarianism for years there. And then, just that's what started me on the path to the whole food plant-based diet that I love, and just the jaw-dropping change that we can see in both our personal health, the impact on the environment, and of course the animals. So
I mean, that's amazing. I always love it when it is information that's what keeps you connected, right? You can't, when people say they're 3, 2, 1 no longer vegan, that's because the cognitive dissonance was really just never broken, and the connection to all the social injustices we face in this world is what is the crux of veganism, right?
And it's like such masculinity tied to the bacon and that kind of stuff. But when you see in that movie, like, I just remember the moment it like clicked. Rip Esselstyn is climbing up the fireman's pole, saying "Real men eat plants," and that's that was it. So thank you, Rip.
I love that whole family, right?
Yes.
They are so phenomenal and thriving. And I believe Anne just celebrated her 91st birthday or something like that.
I know. I saw that. Yeah.
And while pulling a tire, I mean, this like we could.
I hope we can make it there.
And the thing is that what we show is that continuing physical activity and eating a predominantly plant-based diet is what keeps us there, and the evidence is there, and we are grateful to people like that because they are changing lives. And that really, if I may ask you, is what does compassion now mean to you after you've transitioned to veganism?
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's all the little things. I guess when I think of the compassion, it's definitely towards the animals. Gosh, all the all that killing that's unnecessary on every level too. But it is also just trying to figure out each person's little way to unlock. I mean, I've definitely helped many friends and family, try out vegetarian diets for a period of time, or even transition into it with me. My sister's converted to it. So yeah, just trying to figure out how we can unlock the secrets and unlock, us saving the planet on so many levels, everything. So,
and I think that ideology of compassion is what really leads us now to to talking about green growth mentors, right? You decided to build this consulting business empire, I would like to think, centered around this concept of compassion. Why?
I just feel called to it, I guess. I know how much the plant-based life has impacted me and changed my journey. And, I know whichever side of the fence you're on politically, kind of a thing, we get to go to the poll booth and vote. But at the same time, like every single day, we get to vote with our wallets, every single day. And so, whether that's buying bananas and you get to pick bananas at Whole Foods or bananas at Costco, like you're deciding where the profit from those bananas go. And so that means that everything's connected to the business and where we spend our money. And there are so many businesses that I've seen throughout the years that just ask me a quick question when they find out, hey, you're the technology guy, right? Like, can you help me with this or can you help me with that? And so I mentor in my local city here in Charlotte, a lot of businesses in some different mentor groups. And I just want to find ways to give back and help these businesses succeed. I was just talking with an amazing founder of a brand new tempeh company, and he's trying to do amazing things with tempeh. And it's just like, gosh, I just want to see that. And then I asked somebody, have you ever tried tempeh? And they go, I don't even know what that is. And that like blows my mind because I probably eat it 3 times a week, right? But like there's just, we've got to be the change we need to see in the world. And we've got to help these businesses succeed and help the alternative protein industry take off and all the other plant-based industries help change the world. So I want to help those businesses.
Oh man, what a loaded answer that we can just have to dive into piece by piece, because first and foremost, I always tell my students, your dollar's your vote. Your dollar's your vote. I know in a time where we feel powerless, the thing that we remember is that the greatest impact we have is what we spend our money on, or what we spend our parents' money on, or whoever's money you're spending.
Right. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's really fascinating. And so I really implore our viewers who are just feeling a little stuck or have family members that are feeling stuck, just to send them that message. But I love how you talk about, because this is Green Growth Mentors is a mentorship, but it's also allowing you to be hired as a fractional CTO or CIO for individuals or businesses that are looking to take their business to the next level. So could you share with our viewers, like, what services you offer, how you can be of help?
Yeah, absolutely. So I sort of got 4 different programs I'm trying to work on. So number 1 is obviously one-on-one coaching. So whatever that is, if you need some technology help, obviously my strong suit, but I've been in many, many other roles, and I can just help you one-on-one, lay out some roadmaps, lay out some plans, help you figure out some financial things, all those different aspects. So the one-on-one coaching is a strong component there. I know not everybody's going to be able to say, hey, look, I can do one coaching. So I'm also trying to put together master classes where I can spend a half an hour or an hour and go deep on a topic and get 20, 30 people in a Zoom, and we can go deep on search engine optimization, or what a lead funnel looks like, or what a financial statement looks like. And we can learn those things, and we record all those, and we'll stick them in our content library so you can watch the past recordings. And lastly is like a mastermind group where I'm trying to pull like 4 or 5 food oriented people together, or 4 or 5 other like life coaches or nutrition coaches together. And we just try and unpack and help each other with connections and ideas that they know worked in their business and how they can succeed. And then the last thing I'm trying to do is put together sort of an advisory service. So if you're growing, but you want just to get some other business people in the room to just say, on the right track, what's the right advisory, overall sort of accountability thing that will help you achieve that next step. So those are the 4 different ways I'm trying to help businesses grow and unpack and unlock their next steps.
I think that's so great, because 2024 is just around the corner, people. You have goals you want to hit, and honestly, only 52 weeks. And if that means investing in yourself now, we always need a coach. Whatever industry you're in, having somebody evaluate from the outside in is really the most effective way to get to the next level. So, Bryan, I really hope that our Vkind community reaches out to you in the droves in the next few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even I have a coach. I meet with them every Thursday. So yes, everybody needs to have somebody in their corner. So,
absolutely.
Well,
now, and when maybe you can't answer this, but what is the most exciting project you've worked on as a fractional CTO, if you can share with us?
The most exciting one? I don't know. There has been a lot. Obviously, I play a lot in the healthcare space, and just some of the projects I've gotten to work on how we're going to change certain pieces of the healthcare world. I've gotten to work on a couple amazing diabetes initiatives, and we all know that the diabetes can be, definitely helped and offset by a plant-based diet, and it's just so great to be a part of that and see some of the changes come about in that realm. So yeah, I don't know. I can't get into certain specifics to a degree, but there have been some really cool ones. Yeah, I don't know. I got some amazing little vegan Worcestershire sauce company I've helped a little bit here and there. Vegan chili pepper water. It's not really a hot sauce. It's kind of like just a sea water that you put on your salads and stuff. I'm addicted to that one, by the way. So yeah, there's some really great little companies out there, and we're just trying to help them get to the next level.
So I see my Vkind community. So you can see he's got a vast experience here, and also he's a man who can keep a secret. That's probably what you want. So make sure you check out Green Growth Mentors right now. But here's my question. Okay. In such a capitalistic driven market, is it really possible for entrepreneurs, businesses, and organizations to develop this people over profits model and still experience a kind of financial success?
100%. So I've proven it in my businesses that I've built off the ground on that front, that you can, I like to say you can build a company, have fun, and change the world all at the same time. I 100% know that. Maybe I'm not going to make $1 billion or something like that. The greed can't get in the way, but can you build a very successful business? 100%. I know you can have fun doing it. And I know you can be part of the world that needs to change on that front. So yes.
And I think our viewers here at least understand the billionaire class cannot exist without excessive poverty. And so we know that they go hand in hand on the scale. So if we decrease the billionaire class, hopefully we have more resources to fund those that are having the worst opportunities handed to them. And that's our goal, right? It extends just beyond ourselves. So thank you for letting us know that you can thrive more than you want. And, you just have to say, enough is enough. How much more money do I need?
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes I swear. But I love that you are such a great mentor in this plant-based space. So what specific mentorships or partnerships or collaborations have had the greatest impact on you over the last decade?
I mean, there's been quite a few people that have poured into my life. I know for sure. I'd say a really good friend of mine, believes in me, knows that I'm passionate about the plant-based realm and trying to change the world, and has just been there every step of the way, just giving me advice for free, kind of a thing. And that's what I even say with Green Growth Mentors is at least reach out. Let's have a half an hour chat for free, just to unpack your business for 5 minutes and see what the right next steps are. Yeah, I don't know. You caught me off guard with that one a little bit, in the sense that there's probably been 2 or 3 good people that have definitely poured into me and helped shape me. I definitely think my coach, meets with me every Thursday for 15 to 20 minutes and just helps me unpack certain things. So
well, it's time to name drop them. Sometimes the best things you can do for people is just let them know let us know who they are, because
Absolutely. His name's Ryan. He's with Commit Action. And so I love that kind of concept and model, where, you unpack the 3 things we need to get done this week. And so this is the 3 most important things out of whatever they are, get those done. And then checking out with me next week. And then he's texted me throughout the week, hey, what's going on with that one? How are you doing with that one? And just inspiring me and pushing me. So I put that on the radar.
Partners, right?
Accountability for sure. Yeah. Definitely
I love that.
Get one of those, whether you're paying them or not paying them, whether it's your mom or your brother, or your best friend, find some sort of accountability pact, and you will be much more successful as you move forward.
That's the research.
Great thing to start January 1st.
That's the research and evidence we always use in terms of behavior change for kinesiology and exercise science. We hold ourselves accountable, particularly if we have a team or a support group or just another individual. Mm-hmm. So I think that is really what you have seen in your life, and you have now built a business around it. So look at you. That's come great. Full circle.
I'm trying. Yeah, I got to give back to the next generation in some way. So.
Oh my God, I love that. But another thing that I really love that I dove into in the last 2 days that I just could not get enough of was the Real Men Eats Plants podcast. And you dropped the name, saying that you bought the handle about 13 years ago after watching Forks Over Knives. But tell us more about this podcast. Your founder, this podcast is where you share a stage with a dynamic and powerhouse group of men who provide real information, and they're really compassionate. So tell us about it.
Yes, they are. Yeah. We started the podcast about 2 years ago in a slightly different format, sort of a little bit of a newsy format. So you can watch some of the older episodes. I would love some feedback on what we're looking for. But for everybody out there, I mean, this plant-based space is primarily dominated by women. And I'm trying to make sure we unlock that stigma for men out there. And we really try and find ways to bring more men to the plant-based realm. So ladies, if you're out there listening and watching this, drag your husband, drag your boyfriend over, get them to watch a couple episodes. We try to unpack a lot of different topics. We pull in 5 or 6 based men to sit around and talk and unpack things and share some of their secrets and stories, and just talk about how we want to be part of the world to change. So yeah, it's a really awesome show. I get to meet such amazing, great people on that.
And it's always great conversation. And it's amazing because when you do bring in so many different guests, it is always unique and innovative each show. So I'm telling you, viewers, you go watch and listen to Real Men Eat Plants, because I think you're just going to get a lot of joy in your day. So thank you for hosting that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. I host some of the episodes. Shane Martin with Shane and Simple does a lot of the other hosting. And so we're a good tag team duo there, and just trying to bring more men to that plant-based life.
And Real Men Eat Plants is not the only podcast that you're a part of. So tell us more about these other projects that people can listen to you.
My vision with Real Men Eat Plants is to have 7 podcasts and to try and drop 1 new episode every day of the week, basically. So I do have the Plant-Based on Fire podcast, which is more the businessy podcast. So if you're interested in promoting your business or just hanging out with me for 15 or 20 minutes, love to have you on the Plant-Based on Fire podcast, where we talk about businesses and the way they're changing their industry for that one. So I am the host of that Plant-Based on Fire podcast. And then we have one other one, which is the Glenn Merzer Show. And Glenn Merzer is a published author, great guy. I think of him as our little bit of a climate and activist kind of guy. And he tells some amazing funny jokes too. So he does some great deep dive interviews one-on-one with a ton of people on the planet. So check them out. And we have a couple more in production, but we got to work out the kinks. We do have one other really cool podcast that I'm still struggling with a little bit. So help me out there, because it's plants versus meat. And I'm trying to find more meat eaters to come hang out with me for 15 or 20 minutes and just talk about the health, the environment, and the planet and the animals, sorry, and just, help unpack it. Like, I know my reasons for those things, but I want to, like you said, the cognitive dissonance that happens in our heads and everything else, like, let's just talk about it together for a few minutes. So I do have a few guests here and there lining up, but haven't had enough guests to really get the momentum with that podcast. So help me spread
What
the word.
about some of your family members? I wonder, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I did interview my nephew, and I need to get his dad's. My brother does not want to be on the show. My sister's already plant-based. My mom is like this close. I'm pushing her. But my dad won't be on the show. So
Your
yeah,
mom
I've got to
needs to
find
be
some.
on the show, because that's going to be the element that pushes her over, because we got to get callers to
It could
call
be.
in, challenge her for 30 days, I think.
That's
and
right.
what it take, because I think also for some of us, I know my experience is that my parents and my brother is not vegan, but the 5 years now, they realize, okay, this girl's not going anywhere with this. It's just getting more intense. And I just
That's
came back
right.
from a 2-week trip from back home, and my parents are from Bangladesh, like AKA fresh off the boat, right? And the entire week, they cooked everything vegan. And the very few meals, they said, if they eat fish, they live on the river, on the James. So they only eat what they catch. Because we talked about sustainability, and I'm like, listen, you can make an impact here. You can literally go in your backyard and eat that. So they made a commitment 2 years ago to do that. And what I realized is that eating more plants means that they're eating less meat. They also have a dinner table full of vegan food because they want me at the table. And they want me pleasant at the table. Because they know I'm not really, I'll have something to say about their meal if there's animals there, right? So it's been beautiful to watch that progression, because I know that it's hitting, right?
Yeah.
When there's the accountability partner there to watch, it hits. You break that cognitive dissonance. But when the accountability partner leaves the state, so does your behavior pattern. I would love to see that podcast with your mom. I'm going to send my mom.
She's just mom, if you're listening, yeah, absolutely. I would love it. So if you have anybody else has friends and family, have them reach out, because would love to get that one off the ground. Because I think that's, for those of us that are vegan and plant-based, these kinds of things, you have to watch your show, watch my show, and support us and stuff. And we're always looking for topics that are worthwhile to talk about. But at the same time, like, we need to bring more people outside of this realm into it. And that's where I'm trying to, with the Real Many Plants podcast, and then obviously Plants versus Meat, I'm trying to pull outsiders in to really talk about it, break down those barriers.
Okay. So I kind of have a personal question for you, based off of your experience in technology and in the plant-based space, and frankly, at the recent close of COP28. I want to ask you, like, with technology now really coming to the forefront of vegan innovation, what do you feel is going to be the most impactful method to addressing the climate and animal rights issue plaguing us today?
And it's funny because I've been watching the COP28 news feeds and stuff like that myself. I'm so excited that I just read Elizabeth Alfonso's newsletter earlier today, I think, and I think she hit it out of the park in the sense of saying, like, that food is finally center in this climate change debate. Like, we've been focusing on the energy production and the transportation for years and years and years, but that is not going to move the needle enough to save this planet. We have got to focus on food and sustainable food, and not using a ton of our food and water to feed the animals. So I think that the alternative protein market has got to blow up in every which way under the sun, to really the spotlight on it. I see, in my opinion, over the next 10 years, I see the price of meat skyrocketing and the price of alternatives coming way down.
I hope so.
And there's pros and cons, and all the various kinds of that kind of a thing, but all of it's moving in the right momentum. I love the fact that it's going to be center stage, and COP29 or whatever the next one is. And so I'm excited about that and pushing into that space. I think secondarily, we're unlocking a lot of this battery technology because we produce, having been in the energy trading industry way back when, we produce we always have to produce more electricity than we ever use. But the electricity that we have to waste should really be shoved into storage devices, whether that's pumping water up into storage tanks so we can spin the turbines tomorrow, or raising metal, heavy objects up in the air and letting them slowly come down. Whatever battery storage techniques we can apply, I think you're going to see huge innovations in ways to store electricity as kinetic or other types of energy, to reuse it and get us to more sustainable energy markets and grids. So yeah, lots
super insightful. That's so awesome. It's nice to hear, your personal insight, because probably often people are just always asking about their own business, right? And how you can better help your experiences to improve. So it's nice to see what you see on the rise and possibly what we should be investing in the years to come. So
Absolutely.
One last question for our viewers out there. What key advice can you provide to those of us that may have that entrepreneurial spirit, but possibly lack the capital to get started? What do we do?
That's one of the most common questions I get.
Yep.
I would say a couple pieces of advice. Customer discovery is key. Like, don't start spending money in building whatever you're going to build until you've done some customer discovery. So there's some great books on customer discovery. Go read them. Stand outside the store or wherever your potential clients might be, and with the clipboard, ask some really great questions. What would be the right price? Would you buy this? Do you think this would be good? How much would you pay for it? All those kinds of customer discoveries. That's free. It's just investing your time in it to make sure it's a good avenue to explore. And then secondly, for really innovation-oriented type stuff, check into the grant programs. If you're going to help bring vegetable gardens to your local community, or whether you've got a novel idea, there are grants.gov is filled with grants all across the United States. And then SBIR.gov has all the innovation research grants. I don't know if many people realize it, but I think there's over $2 billion deployed every single year into research grants. So if you've got a great idea, you can get some capital through NASA or the Department of Energy or the FDA or whatever those government departments are. It takes some time, it takes some homework, a really good book report. You can unlock some of that free capital out there, and then believe in it and start chipping away at it. And, you can grow your business, I promise.
Wow. Well, Bryan, thank you so much for such an amazing interview. Really.
It's been my pleasure. Yeah, I appreciate the great questions and getting to hang out with you for a little while.
Of course. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this episode of Vkind Connects with the king of technology and compassion, Bryan Dennstedt. To learn more about Bryan and how he can help you and your business thrive with his fractional CTO and CIO services, please go to greengrowthmentors.com. And of course, to hear some real men drop some real plant-based info, listen to the Real Men Eat Plants podcast, available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and so many more streaming services. Thanks again for watching this episode of Vkind Connects and for your continued support of the veg economy. We'll see you next time.